What's up, Guardians? D Flawless here, alongside chat. We're inside the Dime Club live over at twitch.tv/DFlawless. You can come in and say hi if you want to, or if you're watching on YouTube, welcome! We're gonna read this Bungie blog post, Bring the Thunder Inside Arc 3.0. Let's read it, break it down, get live reactions from chat, and I also want to hear from you in the comments, all right? This is less than an hour old, written by the Destiny dev team. Let's jump straight into it. I'm not going to highlight every word. You can read it. I'm just going to read it to you and you can read along. Okay. Some people highlight. I'm not going to, like the inevitable lightning that follows storm clouds, Arc 3.0's time has finally arrived. In 2022, the original trio of elemental subclasses that power Guardians in Destiny 2 have been undergoing a major overhaul. Void was the first subclass to get the 3.0 treatment with the launch of the Witch Queen expansion. Season of the Haunted welcomes Solar 3.0, and soon it will be time for Arc wielders to receive their upgrades. The Destiny 2 development team has been hard at work on this subclass revamp, making sure that the new version of the Arc subclass brings the thunder. Having led subclass redesigns with Void and Solar, the team has spent a great deal of time zeroing in on essence of what a subclass revamp is all about, making sure that every aspect of gameplay and every ability and feature fits into the player fantasy. To get there, it all starts with inspiration. Arc is really just go fast and hit stuff, said Destiny designer Sam Dunn when asked about the core fantasy that powered the Arc 3.0 revamp. We call it the Hold W subclass. Everything is built around moving forward and enabling aggression and those abilities. Powering that high speed, high impact goal, one of the prime inspirations for Arc 3.0 was the 2009 action movie Crank 2 High Voltage. Wow. What a sentence. The madcap action flick stars Jason Statham as an ex-hitman who has his heart stolen and replaced with a battery. To stay alive, Statham must keep his body electrically charged in increasingly outrageous ways. It's nonstop, it's relentless, and it's a great place to start for the fantasy the team wanted to achieve, namely ridiculous closing speed and maximum impact upon arrival. We had a lot of ideas about, you get this buff, and then much like Jason Statham's heart, you need to keep it ticking by staying in the fight, said Destiny designer Mike Humble. As the design evolved, we strayed a bit from that just because it's hard to achieve that in gameplay of Destiny, where you're deleting 75 monsters in a room and then running through a hallway. But that was the emotional fantasy that we wanted to go for, very much like living on the edge. Those Guardians who have spent some time with this revamped version of Void or Solar, or with Stasis for that matter, know the basics of where to begin with Arc 3.0. As with those other subclass options, Arc 3.0 will give players more flexibility over customizing their Guardians' powers to suit their playstyle through the introduction of aspects and fragments. In addition, new and returning class and melee abilities have been built or refactored for the modern Destiny 2 sandbox, making the subclass more powerful than ever. Lighting up new abilities. Before we dive into the class-specific Arc abilities, let's talk about the buffs and debuffs that are key to the Arc 3.0 experience. First up is the new buff Amplified, which is key to the Arc 3.0 experience. An Amplified Guardian is faster, both in terms of movement speed and in terms of their weapon handling, and more agile, able to perform long slides that can function as a devastating setup for some of the attacks that follow. Unlike other damage type buffs, Void's Invisibility or Solar's Radiant, players don't need to equip any specific aspects or fragments to become amplified. By default, all Arc classes become amplified after rapidly defeating targets with any arc damage. And equipped aspects and fragments offer additional ways to become or benefit from being amplified. Ooh. Any arc damage, chat. After sprinting for a few seconds, an amplified guardian will gain another boost in speed, as designer Mike Humboldt put it, basically as fast as we can make our sprint animation go, gaining a sizable PvE damage resistance buff and enabling an even longer slide ability. Imagine full-on Metroid speed booster mode, only Samus is now wielding Gjallarhorn. Even if a player is no longer amplified, as long as they keep sprinting, the speed booster buff will stay active. Oh, I'm loving this so far. I'm loving this. Hyper aggression, hyper movement, speed boost, amplified arc damage. Oh, give it to me. In development, Speed Booster probably took the longest for me to get on board with, in that you were already moving faster to begin with, said Humboldt, when asked about the process of developing and refining the verbs for Arc 3.0. Adding PvE damage resistance to Speed Booster to cement it as a strong gap closing tool, and seeing it being used to move from one cover to the next in playtesting really brought it all together for me. You start sprinting and then you hear this audio swell start to come up, and then you're like a jet engine rocketing around the arena. It's awesome. I can't wait. On the debuff side, Arc 3.0 is bringing two to the party: Blind and Jolt. Blind opponents in PvE won't be able to see, naturally, and will also be disoriented and unable to fire their weapon. In PvP, blinded opponents will have their screen whited out and their HUD removed for a short period of time, alongside a ringing audio effect simulating the ringing in the ears after a flashbang explodes. Jolted opponents who are damaged will periodically send slivers of chain lightning out to nearby enemies, damaging them in the process. We called it. Chat. Chain damage. Let's go. Arc 3.0 also democratizes ionic traces, which are previously available only to military warlocks, now available to all. Traces are objects that, when collected, will add energy for all your abilities. Now that you are familiar with the basics, let's jump into the classes themselves to see how they'll be making the most of Arc 3.0. I love it. I love it. Chat, I mean, is there anything I can't predict? I predicted Iron Banner. I said we're gonna get Solar before we get Arc. And I said Arc's gonna be the best one. Did I not say those things? Did I or did I not? I'm gonna sip my advanced GG while you tell me whether or not I said those things, so the people at home don't think I'm lying. Now, I was spoiled a little bit on the Hunter, but we're going to read on and still react to it, okay? Hunter. A Hunter dashing forward, crackling with the power of arc lightning, is a sight that is sure to strike fear in the heart of any enemy. As with previous subclass revamps, the team had definite images in mind when considering what the new arc should feel like in combat. For Hunter, the team imagined the graceful warrior monk, giving the Hunter the ability to get in close quarters quickly and effectively make a mess of their opponents in the process. For Hunters, we wanted to reward staying in close and being safe while you're in close quarters with an enemy, which is very difficult to do in a lot of our content, said Humboldt. We wanted to give them tools to stay alive while they either closed the gap or were in melee combo. That came primarily in the form of giving them crowd control tools. To that end, the Hunter's Arc Staff Super is returning. With Arc Staff, Hunters will be able to block and deflect projectiles with a press of a button, as well as perform an armored dodge where, upon dodging, the Hunter is more resistant to incoming damage. Okay. But one super just didn't seem like enough to the team. Thus, the introduction of a brand new arc-themed super, the Gathering Storm. What? Here, the Hunter leaps into the air, hurls their staff into the ground or into an unlucky enemy like a spear. Upon impact, the staff emits a damaging burst that jolts nearby enemies. Soon after, a giant bolt of lightning strikes the staff and overcharges it, creating a large damage zone around it in several seconds. While overcharged, the staff sends out arcs of lightning to damage any enemies that move near it. What? Where's Zeus? They turned us into Zeus. We get Zeus's lightning bolt. On the melee side, the team kept the hunter's combination blow ability, feeling like it was right in line with the graceful warrior fantasy that they were going for. Kills with combination blow will refund dodge energy, increase melee damage, and restore a small amount of health, allowing skilled hunters to chain their dodges and melee attacks, into ballistic bursts of beautiful fury. In addition, the disorienting blow melee returns, blinding opponents with a devastating palm attack while also now amplifying the hunter along the way. Nice. Arc Strider meta, baby. It sounds like we're getting a range. It's range. You throw the spear. It's a range super that also does chain damage and calls down the lightning. That's awesome. Hunters will be able to choose from 3 arc aspects to customize their tactical style. Flow state. Defeating a jolted opponent causes you to become amplified. When amplified, the hunter's dodge will recharge faster and make you more resistant to damage, and you have quicker reload times. Tempest Strike allows the hunter to perform a sliding melee that launches an arc wave along the ground, dealing significant damage and jolting enemies in its path. Lethal Current. After dodging, the hunter's melee lunge range is increased and their next melee attack jolts the target and creates a damaging lightning aftershock. When used with the Arc Staff Super, after dodging, the hunter's next staff light attack hits twice. In addition, hitting a jolted enemy with a melee attack will blind them. Oh man. I think Flow State plus Lethal Current is gonna be the combo. Defeating a jolted opponent makes you amplified. When amplified, dodge recharges faster, makes you more resistant, so you can dodge to get your melee back. And then Lethal Current, it kind of the same way it works now. After dodging, you get your melee lunge range, your damage, but now you're getting the added benefit of having the additional hits and jolted enemies and all that. Oh, this is going to be awesome. This is, oh my gosh. Bungie, I freaking love you. Bungie! Finally, and of particular note, Arc 3.0 will also bring back the Blink movement mode for Arc Hunters. In fact, the Blink ability will also include a baseline buff for any class that has access to it. Looking at you, Void Warlocks. Blink hasn't really been touched since Destiny 2's release and never quite reached the heights of its previous reign of terror. Humboldt said, "We felt like this was a good time to walk a few of the tuning changes back a little and bring Blink's potency at baseline up without needing an exotic equip. In practical terms, that means an increased travel distance and a reworked recharge model for the ability that will keep it fresh while still maintaining its effectiveness." Thank you. I'm so tired. The biggest, I love Blink. All right. I'll always be a Blink enthusiast. You give me Blink, I'm going Blink. All right. The biggest thing is getting locked out of your Blink. That's like, especially during like a jumping puzzle where you feel like you timed it right. And for whatever reason, you don't have a Blink active and you just fall. So I'm glad they're touching it up a bit. Hunters get Blink, baby. Oh yes, Tio. Oh yes, it's happening. Warlock. Player fantasies don't come any more vivid than what the team had in mind for Arc 3.0 Warlocks. 2 separate images were top of mind: the Lightning Shaman and Emperor Palpatine in full Lightning Fingers mode while turning Luke Skywalker into burnt toast. Whoever wrote this, I love them. We wanted the player to feel like they were channeling the power of the storm through their body, said Dunn. Controlling the storm, controlling lightning like an elemental conduit. 2 supers will be available for Warlocks. Chaos Reach, where players will be able to shoot concentrated beams of arc energy out of their hands to decimate opponents, and Storm Trance, which is more akin to the image of Palpatine floating around the world firing electricity from their fingers. This super combines both the landfall behavior from previous bottom tier arc, creating a damaging shockwave underneath the player, and the ionic blink behavior from the old top tree arc, allowing the Warlock to teleport briefly during the super. Warlocks will have 2 melees available, both utilizing the power of lightning. The ball of lightning melee will send out a floating ball of arc energy that detonates, zapping enemies down from above. Chain lightning will send out arcs of lightning to strike and jolt the primary target and chain damage to surrounding enemies in the process. Ooh, that chain lightning sounds fun, huh? The Warlock's whole thing is that being amplified modifies their abilities. It powers them up, said Dunn. For ball lightning, if you're amplified, the arc ball will fly out and zap enemies 3 times instead of just the normal 1 time. So you can get more damage out of it. For chain lightning, it chains to more targets. More specifically, while normal chain lightning creates a single set of chains that bounces between a number of targets, when amplified, the ability creates 2 sets of chains and can potentially jump to twice the number of enemies. Wow. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. Chain lightning. Unlimited power! Gonna have a bunch of Palpatine Warlocks. Bunch of Palpatine Warlocks. Captain Lamppost, thanks for the follow. Welcome to the Diamond Club. 3 aspects will be available for Warlocks. Arc Soul. The Warlock casts a rift to create an Arc Soul that will assist the player in battle. Allies who pass through the rift will also earn an Arc Soul. The rift charges faster when allies are near. While amplified, any Arc Soul you have or gain is supercharged, increasing its rate of fire. Wow, so that's kind of like free. What's the Warlock exotic that buffs up the Arc Soul? What's it called? A Warlock is going to tell me here soon. Getaway artists. Yeah, it's like we get free getaway artists. Lightning Surge. The Warlock activates their melee while sliding to transform into a ball of lightning and teleport forward, calling down a field of lightning bolts at the exit point that jolts target. That's new. That sounds hot. Let me read that again. The Warlock activates their melee while sliding to transform. The Warlock is going to transform. The Warlock activates their melee while sliding to transform into a ball of lightning and teleport forward, calling down a field of lightning bolts at the exit point that jolts targets? What? Warlocks are just transforming into lightning? Electrostatic Mind. Arc ability kills and kills on arc debuffed enemies create ionic traces. When you collect any ionic trace, you become amplified. Oh. Oh, man. I think Lightning Surge plus Electrostatic Mind might be the play here. Sounds like you can get some really nasty combos going. Who's going to be running Arc Soul? You know what? But that keeps getaway artists. That keeps getaway artists from becoming obsolete, right? Because if you're running the Arc Soul aspect, you kind of don't need getaway artists. But why wouldn't you run this Lightning Surge Electrostatic Mind combo? And then you put on getaway artists, and now you have the charged up Arc Soul. I like it. It's smart. It's smart. I love this. I love this. Sorry, I was on the wrong screen. My bad. My bad. I got it. All right, Chad. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Hey, let's start over. How about that? I'll start over. Titan. Titans haven't traditionally been known as paragons of mobility, but with Arc 3.0, the team is shaking things up. The teams had a couple of inspirations in mind for the Titan Arc revamp. The lead with your fists, bare knuckle brawler, and the freight train. You don't get to move the Arc Titan, Humboldt said. They move you. The Arc Titan's ultimate goal is to punch you in the face. And so a lot of what we did for the Arc Titan was to try and figure out how we facilitate fist-to-face contact as much as possible. I just love that sentence. How can we facilitate fist-to-face contact as much as possible? That desire to punch all things manifests in a couple of devastating supers that are returning for Arc 3.0, Fist of Havoc and Thunder Crash. While the latter is practically unchanged from before, Fist of Havoc now has an adjusted slam radius that's halfway between top and bottom path, and the ground slam leaves a damaging field in its wake, while slamming from the air causes damaging AoE effect from previous top tree behavior. In the case of Thunder Crash and other abilities, uncoupling a subclass ability from the old subclass Diamond system will result in some substantial buffs depending on how players use it. It's one of the intrinsic advantages that new subclass 3.0 system brings to Destiny. When you start pairing them with different things, even though nothing changed about the actual ability, they can end up getting significantly stronger as a result, because now they aren't locked into a canned set of perks that surrounded them, Humboldt said. Thunder Crash is a great example of that. One of the biggest changes coming to the Arc Titan is the new Thruster class ability. Thruster? By double tapping a button, the Titan bursts in their throttle direction at speed, performing a quick first-person evade comparable in distance to a hunter's dodge? Titans get a dodge? What? Arc is a damage type that is about mobility, so if we're going to add a mobility boost anywhere for Titans, it has to be here, said Humboldt. I just gotta say, right about here, I gotta say, anybody who was giving any devs any crap about the Titan Exotic not coming back, I can't even think of the name of them. What are they called? The thing everyone's whining about? Chad will tell me in a sec. I can't even think of the name of it. Twilight Garrison. Anybody who has given any devs crap about Twilight Garrison, I bet you're looking real silly right now. I bet you feel real silly right now. Titans are getting a dodge. Be happy. Twilight Garrison, that's it. Everyone should go on Twitter and apologize to Kevin. Agreed. For melee attacks, Titans will retain the Seismic Strike shoulder charge, which blinds enemies. Performing a Seismic Strike, while amplified, will increase the radius of the blind, and the blinding effect will last longer. Ballistic Slam also returns, where players can slam the ground after sprinting in the air, creating a damaging explosion upon impact. Those returning melees will be joined by a brand new charge attack known as Thunderclap. Here, the Titan player holds the melee button and charges up arc energy that can be unleashed in either a quick, powerful jab or held and built up to be unleashed in a furious One-Punch-Man style blast that will devastate an opponent. The charge state cannot be stored, and the Titan must be on the ground to charge the punch. The damage is significant. A 90% charge Thunderclap will one-shot Guardians in PvP. Just give Titans all the buffs. What? But that reward will be balanced by the time it will take to build up that charge level, and the fact that you must remain stationary to charge, always a dangerous move in PvP. One punch! Yo, I kind of hit that note, huh? Skullford has entered the chat. Ooh, pizza. That would Skullford, but you gotta stand still and charge that bad boy up. It might not be as easy. I think it's gonna be balanced where it's gonna be high risk, high reward. Because apparently it's gonna take a lot to charge it up from what it looks like here. Like the other subclasses, Arc 3.0 Titans will have 3 aspects to select from. Touch of Thunder improves arc grenades in the following ways. Flashbang fires an additional blind impulse on its first bounce. Pulse, when the grenade damages an enemy, it creates an ionic trace for the Titan. Pulse Grenade damage increases over time as the grenade lingers after impact. Lightning grants an additional charge for lightning grenade and jolts targets on initial blast. Storm creates a roaming thundercloud that moves and tracks enemies, similar to the Stasis Hunter's Silence and Squall super, firing lightning bolts at the ground underneath it. That's a new grade. Is that the wait? What do we have not right now? We have lightning grenades, right? Storm is new. It's a roaming grenade. It's like an arc version of Axion bolts, huh? Storm is the Warlock one. So what's lightning? Oh, lightning is the sticky one. Okay, got it. Yeah. So it looks like they adjusted Storm. Oh no. This is what the aspect changes it to. The aspect changes it to a roaming super. Okay. Got it. Juggernaut. While sprinting and with full class ability energy, the Titan gains a frontal shield that blocks incoming damage. Oh, they're bringing Jug Shield back. What? Not Jug Shield. Oh no. Is this D1? While sprinting and with full class ability energy, the Titan gains a frontal shield that blocks incoming damage. When amplified, the shield is stronger. Once the shield is depleted by taking damage, the player's class energy is depleted. Okay, so you can take out the shield. The shield takes damage. Oh! They're bringing back Jug Shield? Oh, some people are gonna have some opinions about this. Oh man. Wow, Dave. You just had a vulnerable moment. You just felt like sharing that, okay? I'm glad you were able to get it cleared up. Knockout. Melee kills trigger health regeneration and make the Titan amplify. Critically wounding an enemy or breaking their shield increases melee range and damage for a brief period. Titan's base melee becomes arc empowered while knockout is active. Oh, I'm scared to look at Twitter. People were not happy about Jug Shields in D1. I know that much. Oh, that's funny. But we have to assume, all right, let's do the responsible thing. Let's assume they've tested it, they balanced it, they've done their due diligence. I'm sure whoever was at the summit tested it, right? Maybe they got some hands-on time. I'm assuming, right? I would think. If they got a sneak peek, I would think, right? And maybe they said it's fine. And they can always tweak it later. It might be, honestly, it might just be like a bullet or two that you block, especially in PvP. It's probably more of a PvE thing. Titans or Chads. To complement the class-specific aspects, Arc 3.0 will also introduce a suite of new fragments which offer new perks to build upon, as well as add bonuses or penalties to your Guardian's intrinsic stats. Here's a look at a few of the fragments to come. Spark of Beacons. When the player is amplified, Arc special weapon kills create a blinding explosion. Ooh, wait. While the player is amplified, Arc special weapon kills create a blinding explosion. That's nice. Spark of Resistance. While surrounded by enemies, the player has increased damage resistance. Spark of Momentum. Sliding over ammo will reload. Okay, so that's what's that? Inertia override. Sliding over ammo will reload your weapon and grant a small amount of melee energy. Sliding over heavy ammo increases the amount of energy granted. Spark of Shock. The player's arc grenades jolt enemies. Chain damage. Cloud Strike. Oh, Cloud Strike. Oh, Cloud Strike is going to be so busted. In all, the changes that are coming with Arc 3.0 will give Guardians more ways to bring the pain to the enemies of the humanity. while also letting players customize their Guardian to the way they want to play. Fans will have their first chance to see ARC 3.0 in action during next week's Destiny 2 Showcase, which is coming on August 23rd, starting at 9 a.m. Pacific. Check out the Showcase reveal page to learn more. Woo-wee. And there you have it. There you have it, ladies and gentlemen. That's everything from the ARC 3.0 Bungie blog post, where they break it all down. They let us know what's going to be happening in ARC 3.0. Let me know your thoughts. Sound off in the comments. If you like the video, hit like, subscribe to the YouTube channel. And if you want to catch this live, we're over at twitch.tv/D_flawless. You can come in and say hi. Join the Diamond Club for free. Hit that follow button. But until next time, peace out.